that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news. Nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy.
Hello and welcome to what is sure to be a very upbeat episode of Really Real with Richie Redding. Can't think of anything but unicorns and sunshine to talk about. Bobby, you there, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah. Tough one. Tough one. Good to see you. Oh, I do also, as a matter of housekeeping, I got a message on YouTube or a comment from somebody saying it appears as though Bobby did not, in fact, cut out the part where I was yelling at Lisa to stop banging on the damn pots and pans.
Yeah, my bad, dude. It takes literal days for your files to export for some reason, and there just wasn't enough time between this episode and last to go back and fix that.
Well, I mean, sometimes the audience needs to know that I beat my woman, you know?
Did you say that? I thought we clipped the part where you physically did the damage out, at least.
No. You heard Knuckles hit face, from what I gather.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
I trounced her good. I did. I trounced her good.
Like Gary?
Huh?
Like Gary? Have you seen that clip going around, the white guy who fought back in Chicago?
No.
There's a guy who goes to mug him, and eventually he takes a kick at the guy, and his Uber driver breaks up the fight. And everything could be cool, but Gary decided, no, he's had enough, and he beats the shit out of this dude, and you just hear his wife going, Gary, no! Gary, no! God damn it, Gary! God damn it!
Less words, more video.
I will show that up. Give me 1 second.
But, dude, okay, so, also, just, the housekeeping things that I need to address. The last time I was doing a victory dance because I captured that damn mouse. Next morning, saw one again. But we caught that motherfucker overnight, and this one was big and what Lisa, my veterinary girlfriend, was referring to as unthrifty. Have we heard of this term before, boys? Unthrifty, as a way to say that it was in fact a big retarded mouse. And
No.
It did. I mean, nothing is more absurd than I'm walking 6 blocks with a mouse and I've got fucking, purple medical gloves on and a mask because she's so terrified. She was literally afraid. She touched it and the outside of it, she just tried to pick it up and she touched mouse pee. And I told you before, it's like doctors just know too much about like the bad things that can happen as a result from like animals and shit. So she's terrified of leptospirosis, which is fucked up, and especially for it can like make you go crazy. But there's also like they actually call it like the zombie virus, but. And for pregnant women, it can be really bad. It's why pregnant women are not supposed to change litter boxes because of lepto. But I'm walking this thing 6 blocks when I would gladly just drown it in the toilet. I can give a fuck about a mouse. But
gotta tell you, by comparison, I actually caught a mouse over in Yonkers this week. And what was really fun was I had one glue trap, and then you just fold it in half so it suffocates the mouse, and you put it in the trash.
Yeah, you definitely went in the other direction. That is, the glue trap is for sure the gnarliest one of just fucking, just die with your face stuck in something. So, do they suffocate or starve to death?
Well, so you start to hear it squeal, and then you have a choice. Do you want to let it starve to death, or do you just want to put it out of its misery and just chose to suffocate?
There was one time when probably the most athletic thing I've ever done in my life was that we had a mouse in the house in Smithville that I grew up in. There was a mouse on a sticky pad, but it was like the elevated sticky pads. They've gotten cheap now that they're like just flush with the ground. Way easier to step in yourself too. But my dad had caught it and he was like fucking around with me and he like threw it. He pretended he was gonna throw it at my face, but he actually like slid it. He pulled a wrister and like shot it down at my feet. But it was at the same exact time that I was really into street hockey as a white kid from Jersey in the 90s, and with like perfect timing, I wrist shotted the thing as he slid it at my feet directly into the fire.
Dude.
Into an open fireplace. And man, not a great sound, but to the credit of the fireplace and its very warmed up flue, I don't know what it smelled like. But yeah. Anyway, so we're, I'm walking across Jersey City with this goddamn mouse to let the thing go. The exterminator gets there the next day, and she's like, oh, do you have a mask? Do you have gloves? And the guy like sees some mouse shit, and he's like, he looks down at it, and he just like picks it up with his hand. He's like, yep, that's mouse shit, and just wipes it on his jeans. It's like, look how totally not dead he is, babe. Isn't that amazing that this guy can handle 5 mouse turds and not fucking be hospitalized immediately? Dude, that whole thing reminded me of we had a bed bug scare when I was living with a previous girlfriend, like probably 12 years ago, and we both had some bites on us, and my girlfriend calls the exterminator, and I feel like there's absolutely like some kind of short form series to be had of following this guy around. That he is clearly a good exterminator with narcissistic personality disorder. Like, you've never seen like the God King exterminator that also tells everybody that they're stupid. So my girl answers the door, and she's like, yeah, I think we have bed bugs. He goes, no, you don't. And she's like, yeah, but we got bit while we're in bed. Like, it sounds like bed bugs. You know I have bed bugs. She's like, well, how do you know that? He's like, you ever hear of Brad Pitt? Thought he had bed bugs? Didn't have bed bugs. You know Gwyneth Paltrow? Thought she had bed bugs? Didn't have bed bugs. The dude dropped like all these A-lister names while he's like going around the apartment of like, but it was always just like to tell you that these people were stupid. And I actually love, what's that?
I'm dating a comedian. I don't know if you see us. We're not those people you just mentioned. There's a good chance it is bedbugs. We aren't living where they are.
Yeah. We are amongst filthy people. But so the way that we wound up talking to this guy was that he was like towards the end of the phone book, and a buddy of mine told me like to go with him. It was like Z something, some shit like that. And the reason this guy, my buddy had the same exact experience with him, and there's apparently like the big bed bug companies, their whole thing is that they have the dogs, right? And he like walked us through this whole thing, and that the dogs signal. So my buddy got hit with like a $50,000 estimate because he's in this insane loft apartment or whatever. And the guy just tried to like, it was like, we're gonna bag up your whole house and we're gonna microwave the whole fucking thing, and like, every single piece of furniture that you have is gonna get irradiated, just all this crazy shit. But it's that the way that they do it is that they come in with the dogs, like you've seen those, right? The ones with like Roscoe, the bed bug dog. So those dogs are trained. This guy said that there's 2 farms in the whole country that train all of those dogs, and for the dogs, it's a game, right? Like it is for everything. Every trained dog is just a game. Like if they're finding bombs, they're finding bed bugs, whatever it is, it's always just like a way to get a reward for them. And they reward the dogs when they signal. and the ones in the one farm are or like, you know, training facility are they go crazy for bags, for a black bag, and then the other kennel or training whatever is for goes after shoes. So like all these people that pay them a crazy amount of money is because they open the door and the dog sees a bag and just goes bonkers for the bag. And that's how they get you for like insane amounts of money. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. What else was I talking about? Oh,
Wait, can we talk about the dogs a little further? Maybe if you
Yes.
expound upon that and say, let's say there was another dog trained to find something else, like, say, drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And then could you not see a similar cause and effect situation there?
Yeah, but also bed bugs are like fucking invisible. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
if
just
you...
saying, we have the husband of world-renowned veterinarian here saying that drug dogs, bullshit. Hire Richie. He'll get you off.
No, I'm saying bed bug dogs, bullshit. I remember many a time of going through, especially 30th Street Station in Philly, and seeing the dogs and having drugs on me and just being like, please be a bomb dog. Please be a bomb dog. That's the worst, dude. I would have like a couple grams of blow in my pocket. Like, oh shit! I wonder if the paranoia aspect of smoking weed has gone down now that it's legal, or is it just you just find something new to be paranoid about?
Oh, you find something new.
Yeah. It's just your wiring. It's not the actual weed, or no, it's the weed and your wiring. It's not the legality of it.
I think almost it gets you less high now that it's legal. Like the thrill, the endorphin rush of doing something illegal and getting away with it is gone. Kind of like drinking. Once you hit 21, it's not as fun.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's why the guys on heroin on the street still seem like they're really high.
They do seem like they're having a great time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dude, that time that I was on my way to Compound to do a show and seeing a guy looking for, like, just checking out the 7 open weeping holes in his leg, of which one he was going to throw a needle into, was one of the gnarliest things I've ever seen in my life. And it's just right out on the street in New York City. I feel like we should send those guys to wherever the camps are that they're putting the migrants in, like those hotels. Like, we got to put those Americans out there.
That's how we defend our borders. The heroin addicts, tearing them from
Yeah,
unproductive
just
to the
gee.
human scarecrow.
Oh, get back to Venezuela. I know, dude. My girl's parents had they went to Poughkeepsie last week. And there was like 2 rooms left in the whole hotel, and the whole thing was completely fucking ransacked and run over because it was a migrant hotel that they had like 400 rooms that were all being paid for by the government, and there were more rooms. There should have been more rooms, but the locks were broken off the night before. Fuck, dude. Yeah, it's gotten to the point.
Is there like a disclaimer on the website before you book?
No, dude, they're saying that the Army-Navy game, I'm not sure if it's canceled, but half the parents can't go to watch the game now because there's no hotels available because of Biden's border policy. It's not great. It's not great. You know, it's to the point where real New Yorkers can't even shit in the street anymore. There's so many migrants. I'm overdosing here. Scoot it over, Paco.
I saw it last week. I was doing a spot at Three Monkeys, and they had shut down a whole avenue and literally just had 3 empty semi-trucks that they were loading all the defaulted payment scooters on. So the scooters that they were renting and then didn't continue to pay for were being repossessed. And like, it was an entire police operation. I can't imagine how many thousands of dollars are being spent on that.
Wait, the cops were repoing scooters
were-
on behalf of
No. So
a company?
they had the repo men on the street, and then they
Uh.
had the cops blocking off the entire avenue and not letting anybody through it on a Friday because they were repoing all these scooters. And we're talking like hundreds.
Oh wait, it was the guy. They were blocking it. They made a kettle basically for the guys that were on the scooters.
No, they were blocking off, so nobody was allowed onto the avenue where they were repossessing the scooters. So basically, the repo men were there to take the scooters. The police were blocking off the avenue to not allow any other traffic in, like to prevent guys from
But why
trying
were
to keep
there-
them from taking their scooters, like literally shut down.
Why
the
were there
entire-
hundreds of scooters on this one street though?
That's where the immigrants stay. So it was at one of the hotels. It was out front of, I forget which one it was, but basically there are literally like 200 scooters just parked illegally on the sidewalk that they all got with a check when they first come here and then never pay. Like they think they own it.
Yeah, you gotta, dude. You gotta take it inside. You know, you gotta run that risk of having that thing blow up inside.
I feel like I should have
That-
kept that
that's-
story inside. That's on me.
No. If you don't want your scooter to get repoed, you know, if you know you're not paying that shit, you gotta sleep inside with that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
But supposedly those things also have a tendency to blow up a little bit and occasionally take everybody with them.
God willing.
But Jesus, Bobby. Yeah, I spent yesterday completely offline. Well, no, I was online all day, but I was just completely out of it because I got bullied into getting vaccinated again, which dude, yeah. And it was the double, the flu / COVID kicker, and it fucked me up so bad for like 2 days and the justification behind it is always or like the explanation is like, oh yeah, that's your immune system reacting. The fact that you feel sick means you have a really good immune system. Like, yeah, which is why I don't need this shit.
Just out of curiosity, what would it feel like if my DNA was being rewritten?
Yeah.
Would those symptoms
Well,
by any chance match up?
On the other hand, I didn't explode or turn gay from the mRNA when that alarm went out, that emergency system thing last week.
Did you
But,
listen to it, or did you turn your phone off?
Oh, I immediately turned that thing off.
Me too. I wasn't taking any chances.
The only ones I watch are Megan's Law, and I just give a quick look around, you know, see if anybody matches that profile. But oh yeah, so the reason I mentioned the getting the shot was, well, I mean, there's nothing worse than just like waking up in the middle of the night, fucking like shivering. Because at first I always think that it's just cold in the room, and then I'm like, oh, I'm just being a bitch. And then I get up to like, you know, put something else on and like try to get warmer, and it's like, oh, my teeth are chattering right now. I'm actually all fucked up from this thing. And I thought I was completely out of the system, and like an hour before we started the show, got in the cold plunge, and whoa, will that bring it back. It was by far the hardest 5 minutes that I spent in that thing, basically having flu-like symptoms and dunking my dumb ass in there. But the no bitch ass plan doesn't wait for you to not feel like a bitch ass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You gotta jump in there.
Also, congrats on 5 minutes, man.
Yeah. I'm up to sometimes 6, but oh yeah. Speaking of the vaccine, how amazing was it that that RFK managed to announce yesterday? Yeah, of all the days, buddy, I think you could have maybe pushed that one back if you wanted a little bit more of the news cycle. But it's definitely been fun to watch Republicans immediately turn on this guy, of all the people that were like, they were pushing him as like the next rational thinker and like someone who needs to be heard and blah, blah, blah. And then the second it became obvious that he was going to be taking votes out of Trump, it was like, fuck this guy. He's a dangerous psychopath. But My favorite idea still is definitely that Biden just dies from a hard fart. Trump goes to prison. Somehow RFK winds up being the president, and then he dies of COVID. Would just be the most perfect shit ever.
Poetic justice.
Yeah. But, dude, just now at ShopRite, we took a walk at like 3 o'clock, and, you know, I'm a chronic eavesdropper, and I saw some old guy. I mean, he had to be 80, and he had like a heavy accent, but he was all, you know, he's all like hunched over and shit. And he walks up to what could only be referred to as a fabulous young black guy, but the guy didn't have on rainbow colors or anything like that. You know, he was just like super duper like couture fashioned young black dude. And he walks up to him, and like we're over like by the meat section, and he's like, excuse me, I have a question for you. The guy's like, yeah, he's like being all polite. He's like, you are homosexual? And he's like, and like as soon as I heard homosexual, I was just like, I'm in. I just started shopping for turkey burgers all of a sudden. Like I stopped dead in my tracks and just started ear hustling this shit. And he goes, he's like, so I want you to know that I was raised by two transvestite. You know transvestite? He's like, It's like the best time you'll ever have in your life is Pride in Israel. Have you heard? Tel Aviv Pride Week. Beautiful. So much fun. So gay. So sexy. You have to go. It was all the time that I stayed as long as I could without it being like officially weird that I was just leaning in on this thing. But it was like, wait, motherfucker, you're trying to sell Spring Break Israel today? This is a tough sell any day, pal, but
after the second worst bombing of the weekend?
But yeah, fuck, man. It's like, that is the craziest fucking travel outreach program I've ever seen in my life. One hunchback old guy at a time to queer fabulous fella. But, are you referring to the bombing incident that I told you about? Yeah. Well, I referenced it to you. Alright, so I won't say that, hey, anybody that's enterprising could probably figure it out, but the most awkward situation, the most awkward bomb that I've seen, like possibly ever. It was the only time I've ever seen a club in the city on the verge of a possible mass walkout. You know, like. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, and usually with that kind of thing, like back in the day, I mean, 2016 and 17 was the most sensitive time in the world, and like the most hypersensitive pussies ever when they were doing the safe space comedy and all that kind of bullshit in Brooklyn. Exactly. But so like the first show, the dude closed it, and he went up, and it's just an old school mentality, you know, that's like not that you don't see in the city, and he is not a black guy, which has a much better chance of getting away with this, but just kept saying bitch this, bitch that, fucking bitch, bitch, bitch. I just had a mild heart attack wondering if my microphone was on. I don't know why. We didn't do the pre-roll. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And I just shit my pants for a second. But yeah, it was nothing but calling women bitches, referring to crazy bitches, this bitch, and like points at one girl. What's up with this bitch? You know this bitch? Bitch. And like, that went on long enough. It actually went on way longer than I thought would get away with. That I think there was just enough bros in the crowd to carry it. And then with like 2 minutes to go, some girl that she sucked anyway the whole time. Like, she was startlingly or like distractingly just fucking blank faced the whole time. He asked her what was wrong, and she just hit him with the straight up, "You're not funny. This isn't funny. You're just offensive." And like, you know, and he stopped and addressed it and dug in, but like, it just ended fucking weird. And then the next show, it went up, and there was a couple that I'm actually surprised I didn't talk to, and so like the first one on the bomb scale, it was a 3 out of 5 bomb because like he was doing pretty well, and then it just got away. And then the second one, he's doing some crowd work, just talking to the guys at first. There was this couple that I wasn't sure if it was a mother and son or a date or not. And he asked this chick, like, he said something, it was like, oh, and it was like, yeah, and he just came out and said, he's like, "Dude, is this your mom? Your mom's hot." And she's like, and he's like, "No, it's my date." And he's like, "Ew, gross. Are you one of those teachers that like bangs your that bangs your students?" And he goes, "We're the same age." And he goes, "You look fucking awful." It's just like, "You're aging like shit, lady." Like, I'm laughing because like it's so fucked up, but dude, the room just comes to a screeching halt. And he said something else, and then this chick to the left just starts booing, just openly booing.
Dude, you got the Apollo treatment?
Dude, and he goes, "What are you laughing at? She's hotter than you." And so of course she's like, "You can't fucking say that about a woman. That's disgusting." And he goes, "You're disgusting, you fucking ugly cunt." And dude, before the T and cunt hit, my God, was that room gone. And like, I just like, literally like 50 chicks just started booing in a room that can hold like 150 people. And I was sitting there watching just because I'm entertained. And then everybody turns to me, like, you know, people don't know how comedy clubs run. They think like somehow I'm like, I booked everybody, and like I'm running this show, and they're looking at me. I was like, I don't fucking know. And then from stage, he's like, "Dude, how did this happen twice in a row?" Like, yeah, it's a mystery. What's the one common denominator? I can't figure it out. So he goes, he's like, you know, and dude, we're maybe 3 minutes in. I think it's probably 2 minutes in at this point. And he's like, "I'm sorry, miss. We got off on the wrong foot. I'm sure you're a nice person. How are you?" And she is, of course, like still snapping because he had just called her an ugly cunt. And he goes, "You know what? I take it back. You are an ugly cunt." I'm like, "God damn it, dude." Oh, fuck, man. At which point I just like went and waved down the manager. I was like, "Yo, you gotta end this, bro." So they put on the red light, and what's his face? Jim Florentine is next, who is not like the nicest guy in the world to the audience, you know. But as I'm going up, he's like, "Dude, do time, dude." And
Do my time.
yeah. And thank God that this audience was populated by, there was there was two sets of three of the most autistic looking dudes that you've ever seen. It was three Indian guys and then their Bizarro World white twins on the other side. Like they all had the Coke bottle glasses, the whole nine. Went up and it was just like, because like there's no joke you can tell in that situation, you know? And it was like, I just sat in it for a second, for like 30 seconds of just total silence. And I was like, guys, I just got here. What happened? Feels weird in here. Like that kind of got a pop. And it was just like, look, man, I think everybody here is a baddie. I'm sorry if it got weird in here, but who thinks somebody should take this kid's virginity tonight? And like the most retarded one of them was like, yeah! Like he was just so game. And him being a total sport like changed the room. And then Florentine dealt with it really well. Like he did as well as he could have given the circumstances, but it was still weird. When I went up in between, I got the footage. I don't know if it was going to be usable because you can't actually see the guy, but there's just, you know, we're in a missing man formation. This one table is just sitting there with like the food and drinks are still on the table. The girl that was next to it like keeps showing the guys she's doing this, like trying to do something. I'm like, are you trying to get them to eat their food? And she's like, yeah. And I turned to the white autistic guys and I was like, yo, if you guys are real dudes, you gotta polish off their food. And the guy goes, I'll take that drink. I was like, you won't take that drink, you'll chug that drink. Who thinks he should chug that drink? This dude just stands up and like just fucking one times like a big cocktail, and the place went bonkers for him. And he like turns around and he's like, "What was that?" And the waitress is like, "Double Jameson." Like, oh. But like, it was a really weird thing because I've never had it. I've literally never had a crowd where so many people came up after me and were like, thank you for turning this thing around. But it was also like, for me it was a lesson in comedy because there was nothing I could have done that would have made that better. You know what I mean? Like it had to come from within the crowd for them to be able to like self-heal sort of.
To
But
decide individually and then as a group that they're going to be back on the board to have fun and stop being angry, which is tough. Yeah, exactly. Well, like, literally 20 guys came up to me and were like, dude, my girlfriend was going to make us fucking leave. Can't call anybody a cunt anymore? Come on. Well, and also... Do you offend everyone?
But here's the thing. She was very ugly. Very ugly. That's like, if you tell a girl that's a 9 that she's ugly, then she stands up and is like, is this fucking ugly? And she pushes her tits up and everybody goes crazy like, fuck you. But it was like, hey man, you can't tell an ugly girl she's ugly. She's ugly.
She's heard that a time or two. It's not gonna bounce off.
Yeah, so shout out to that girl and her therapist, who was no doubt trying to unpack.
I'm sure they'll be rapping next week.
Oh, dude, that therapist is making money on that incident. This poor broad's not gonna be able to go back out in public. But all right, well, I guess we've gone long enough without talking about the old elephant in the room here, huh?
Nikki Haley?
Oh, Nikki. Yeah, I mean, dude, if there's proof enough that that fucking retard is not supposed to be the president of the United States, that thing that she did of basically without evidence saying that it was Iran and saying that Iran started it and Israel has to finish them. My God. These people are so horny to try to get into unwinnable wars that it's like, I don't know. I mean, let's kind of just starting from the top with it. But it's like, Is it all of Twitter now, or X, or whatever, or is it just my timeline because I follow extremes? But my shit is nothing but wild conspiracy theorists that are all super anti-Semitic or wipe Gaza off the face of the map. Is that like, did I create that, or did that happen when Elon took over?
So I think it's a bit of both. Because I'm starting to see the edges of that, where it's like half of it's conspiracy, half of it, but it's not fully taken over my feed like it has yours.
Yeah, dude, it's nothing but Stu Peters and all these fucking maniacs. I gotta get back on Black Twitter. So much more fun there.
Yeah.
Just ass shots and actual dunking on people. it's
I'm falling
hood fights
into
and shit.
the Black Twitter rabbit hole of 50 Cent explaining how he won beefs. Like the thought process
funny.
behind it, and that's my favorite thing.
Yeah. But dude, the immediate rush to like both sides this thing was so disgusting. And it's weird, right, that like 50 cities all had Palestinian protests the next day.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't seem like it's the most organic creation or reaction. Like, that feels very kind of astroturfed or something. That all of those things start up spontaneously the next day. I don't know, but it's like, dude, let the fucking pie cool down a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But,
You don't celebrate when you're up. Like, that's why comedy
Yeah.
was harder than Trump won, like you said, in 2016, because he was actively spewing anti-politically correctness. So trying to be anti-politically correct just made you seem like you were piling on.
Right.
You gotta give it a week or two. Let the Jews have their protest first.
yeah, well, that was interesting. The next day, we were at Lisa's Jewish parents' house. Woo! Tough day to have that planned. Real tough day. But, yeah, man, the thing that's really interesting about it is that there's already immediately from within Israel, there's like major voices, and basically in like their New York Times, there's the Haaretz, or however it's pronounced, like blaming it on Netanyahu, which is really interesting if you think of it in the context of that it was that this is their 9/11, because Bush was golden for 2.5 years probably, right? It was a good 2 years after 9/11 because of, just being the leader during that time. And the fact that they're already kind of pointing it at Netanyahu is interesting, right? And like he's basically their Trump, like they're probably more like their Boris Johnson, but he's their most protested, internally protested PM that they've ever had, and it's there. There's crazy Trump parallels. He's got 3 trials going on right now for corruption charges, but his are all for like taking gifts from media figures, like taking lavish gifts and shit like that. But the Bush parallel, that's more like the thing that they're pointing it at is they're saying that it's because, and it kind of like plays into the narrative of the pro-Palestine people, is saying that like he had the most hardline government, and they've been pushing for more settlements in the West Bank. And those settlements, well, first of all, the settlers are the crazy yahoos of Israel. Like, that's absolutely their rednecks, right? Like, if there's an equivalent to, like, white power guys in Israel of real hardcore Zionists like take all this shit. Imagine, and actually some of them are American. Like they go there to go do this, but like imagine you're given the option of like living anywhere that you want to in Israel, and you can like live by the beach, you can live in one of the cities, or you can go kick some Palestinians out of their houses and deal with them wanting to kill you every single day. Like, it's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
But so,
Do you know Nassim
so-
Black? He's a
No.
gangster rapper who did that. He's an American gangster rapper who
really,
is living on the Gaza Strip now. He makes rap songs like to the Hava song beat. It's all like him being a gangster to Palestinians, dude.
nope, fuck that. But actually, I was just watching some awful Palestinian rap, but it's like a kid.
The
But-
one saying, "Why can't we all be free?"
Oh, that might be him.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, but so like, yeah, so they supposedly sent a whole bunch of their military there just to protect those settlers because they're like in the most precarious spot in all of Israel. So that like maybe that's the parallel. But I mean, you know, I'm pretty big on if the Bush family didn't do 9/11, they kind of let it happen, and I think that's definitely the bigger, more interesting thing here, right? And it's what all the let's say anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists on Twitter are saying is that Netanyahu let it happen so that he can have this massive response. But like, and then there's also reports that somebody from Lebanon told them, like higher up in their intelligence, told them that they had to be on the lookout because something was going to happen soon, and that he let his guard down. But also, that report came from a reporter that got fired by Reuters for making shit up. Right?
Oh,
So it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. The thing that's so scary about it is like their defense minister, whoever it was, with the human animals comment, like we're fighting human animals and we have to treat them like animals. It just rhymes so much with the Bush axis of evil thing. I don't know if you remember the day of 9/11, but Bush gave that speech saying that there was an axis of evil between Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. And it was like, as he was saying it, I remember going from being super pissed off and super patriotic to, holy fuck, this is a holy war now.
yep.
You know, like he just framed it in holy war pretense.
And you can't fight an idea. It's very, very hard.
Yeah, and right, and which is, you know, Nikki Haley's fucking finish them. Jesus, look, finish them. Just what does finish them look like? Right, but yeah, the really intense things. So like, everybody's asking, like, saying, is this going to lead to World War III? And I don't know. Is there ever going to be another World War III, like another World War in the same kind of context? Because that requires everybody buying in, and there being all these allies, right? So like,
Yeah.
I mean, all of Europe has basically already sold out Ukraine,
Exactly.
and it's literally on their doorstep, right? Like, Poland's the only one that's like super pumped about pumping money and arms into Ukraine. So like, could there ever be another alliance the way that there is, or is it going to be everybody looking out for their own shit? Like, is it possible that it turns into a really big regional conflict? Maybe. But like, it's also it's really weird because if they wanted to do something, if Egypt and Syria and Iran and Saudi Arabia, all these countries wanted to do something to just help the Palestinians, they could just absorb a whole bunch of Palestinians, right? Like Jordan could just take all the fucking Palestinians, but it's way better for them to have this enemy that they can blame everything on and get people riled up about, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like you don't want to fix your problem; you want to keep that problem. It's like with Republicans, it was probably way better for them to have changing abortion or outlawing abortion as an idea than it was expedient to actually have it done. So it's like, oh shit, that, like, you know what I mean? They're the dog that chased the car with that.
Or like you were saying, they don't want the Bidens or the Trumps to go to prison. They want to complain about them not going to prison. The enemy there that you know is how you fundraise. Right. It's how you get your people to support you.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. With I think some very interesting questions are. It's like, so is it possible that they were just completely caught off guard? And, so like supposedly the Hamas has been completely offline with all of their communications in talking about this shit. And like literally nothing online whatsoever, that they went completely dark, because that was the most confusing thing. Like if Mossad is supposed to be the most advanced spy system in the world, and a lot of the tech that we use comes from Israel, and they've got a backdoor to be able to monitor everything from Signal to Telegram and to Twitter and all that shit, then how the fuck does that happen? I don't know. We just go old school jail, writing in piss with a blank piece of paper. Maybe, right? Maybe you can plan something like that, but how do you get thousands of missiles in is the bigger question.
Oh, under the same way. You recruit a bunch of Navajo Indians. No one speaks their language anymore. You start saying you're building casinos.
Some wind talkers.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like that's the thing to me that's the hardest to believe, is that they can get thousands of missiles in without anybody knowing it. So like that shit comes from somewhere, right? But I think a very interesting thing with that is going to be to see, and I wonder if we'll ever know, because if it didn't come from Iran, then it could be U.S. weapons, and there's a whole bunch of U.S. weapons that they can't account for in Ukraine. But then there's also, I mean, if it went through Iran, I think it could also, I mean, what happened to all the shit that we left behind in Afghanistan? You telling me that international arms smugglers aren't leaving shit all over the place?
Oh, absolutely.
Or, from Afghanistan, so yet again we could wind up using our own weapons against ourselves. And then, like, the other biggest
who started that? Who was in charge of the CIA when that happened?
Yeah, exactly. But old Cocaine Charlie. Charlie Wilson's War was a pretty good movie, but it's insane that it leaves out that his nickname was literally Cocaine Charlie. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
He was coked out of his shit all the time. That he had meetings with very high up people that would listen to him go on and be like, "Hey man, we want to help, but you gotta keep it together, man.
You got a drip going right now."
Oh, for sure. But the thing, one funny take that I saw was I think this did come from Black Twitter. Actually, it was mean to tell me that Israel got run over by 40 motherfuckers on paragliders, and they just happened to grab the 40 hottest chicks in all of Israel? But that thing of low tech beats high tech is a thing, right? And like I told you about that in Afghanistan, was that the reason that we didn't catch Bin Laden in the first raid with all the heat-seeking missiles and shit was because they put propane or like a tiny camping fuel stoves and lit them all over the mountains, and that was enough. Like $1,000 worth of camping stoves was enough to blind heat-guided Tomahawk missiles. So I don't know. Can the Iron Dome pick up on a lawnmower engine with Fan Man coming down?
I want to see one of those Da Vinci pedal helicopters. That's the next step.
Do you remember Fan Man, though?
Yeah, exactly.
Fan Man was the guy that fell out of the sky and hit Evander Holyfield. Oh, Fan Man. But yeah, I mean, like, I think it is really possible that could have happened. But there's also just like there's never been more of an immediate misinformation campaign, I think, than this thing. That like even Ukraine, it took some time for it to ramp up before there was crazy misinformation on both sides. Like the thing that went super viral today was that Hamas beheaded 40 babies in Gaza of settlers, like from a kibbutz. But that came from, and it was CBS, like CBS News, from their Twitter. It was like CBS has learned that this happened. It's that thing that I talked about a long time ago of like how something becomes confirmed.
One small newspaper gets confirmed by another small.
It was a French paper retweeted a French reporter saying that she heard that the Israelis have beheaded 40, or I'm sorry, that the Palestinians, that Hamas had beheaded 40 babies, and then her newspaper retweeted it, and from that, it's become fact that 40 babies were beheaded, and there's not a single picture of it. I mean, I don't want to see that picture, but it's still like really weird how that echo chamber just happens immediately. But at the same time, then on the other side is like, there's all these things saying that that a tactical nuclear weapon might be used in the Gaza Strip or against Hezbollah should they attack. And nobody from Israel actually said that, but do they want them to think that? Like, that seems like something that, like, Israel might want them to think, like, just on some PSYOP shit.
Oh, absolutely, right?
But, yeah, but then again, we're 2 years into Ukraine, and this tactical nuclear weapon has been coming from Russia for the whole fucking 2 years, and we haven't seen this thing. Right? And then, like, and also, dude, it's crazy how that the 40 babies thing. Ted Cruz, I'm pretty sure, I saw him that he retweeted that. So it's like you've got senators just claiming shit as fact. But Lisa's parents. Lisa has the constant puppy connection,
Of course.
And her mom told her that there's people that are dressing up as rabbis and going around New York asking if you're Jewish, and if they say yes, then they attack you. It's like, from where's the video of that? Doesn't seem like New York would be the place to do it.
It's also not hard to tell in New York.
Yeah. Nah, there's good nose jobs out there.
I just meant when they have the band that's playing the music and they're like, "Come in, my brother." It's not hard to figure. Oh, I wonder if they're Jewish.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. I think well that, and then you also have like Elon is telling like yesterday he told people to go and follow War Monitor as like the best source of information about the conflict, and that guy has dozens and dozens and dozens of like super fucking anti-Semitic and also conspiratorial things that he's posted that have absolutely no founding whatsoever. So here's what I think would be the craziest. Elon. It would be weird but strangely equitable if he put up Starlink in Gaza. Is that possible? What if Gaza got... Because he could keep Palestinians in the internet. I mean, they're not going to have food or water or medicine, but they could have Wi-Fi. Right? If he wanted to go like massive disruption, but also I think there's too many government contracts that we have with him with SpaceX and shit for him to actually be able to do that.
Although, if you then provided that internet to the most hostile and spied on region of the world, I would imagine the U.S. government might be on board for that if perhaps they could get access to the data that was given to the internet used in the Gaza Strip. Or maybe there was like a profitable country that really liked spying that had interest on what was going on in the Gaza Strip.
Right.
Like the other, what is it, 49% of Twitter?
Right. Yeah, just turn on those, keep those cameras on at all times.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's like, and then, but then like the most interesting part of the whole thing to me is that there's this, you know, Nikki Haley is immediately saying that because it was Hamas, then Iran is behind it, and we have to finish Iran. But Iran hasn't claimed responsibility for it, and it's like they definitely get their money and their weapons from it, but like, did they actually plan it? I don't know. And it almost feels the same way that when we were on our Orange Man bad shit, when everybody was saying that it was that it was Russian disinformation that swayed the 2016 election, there was never anything greater for Putin internally than all of Americans saying that he upended our democracy with like spam.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, they literally made the Call of Duty trailer that basically that Putin won the PSYOP war and it started World War III. Like, that's how serious it was in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, so on the same note, you know, it's even if they didn't actually have responsibility for it, it's pretty great for their street cred for people to think it was Iran and for their ongoing beef with Saudi Arabia. Like, what's up? That's what we did. So they get the credit without actually taking credit, but it also seems like if they wanted to attack Israel, they could have done it real bad. You know, that they could have gotten Lebanon to do it and also do it themselves and like really fuck shit up, but they didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. Something tells me, Bobby, we're not gonna settle this one today.
I don't think we are today.
Sometimes you gotta admit you don't know, you know. But and I will also say that a thing that's been talked about for a very long time is, and I think I've mentioned it on here before, is that aircraft carriers have never seen modern warfare, like a real. We never send an aircraft carrier against somebody that has like, you know, real defense systems to attack them, and those things could be floating graveyards. And there's nobody has got better missiles supposedly than Iran. That they have these dolphin diving missiles that like skip along the water surface, and yeah, sure hope that we never get to see if those things work. So this was fun for the first half, depressing as fuck for the second half.
You want a quick palate cleanser before we get out of here? You want to watch Gary defend his honor?
Desperately.
Yeah. You get the fuck out of here. You get the fuck out of here. Come on.
Does the guy have anything in his hands?
It's a knife.
Hey! Break it up! Break it up! Let's do it, man. Break it up!
Like the kick.
That's the Uber driver. Oh, he's getting it.
This is the same week that the guy.
Got slashed in New York, yeah.
Same week that another guy got stabbed to death in the exact same situation.
Alright, bro, come on!
Go on, Gary.
You fucking motherfucker!
Put the boots to him, Gary. His wife is saying, "You won, you won." Gary? That wife he's giving him a talking to the whole time.
That goddamn it, Gary, is, is like, he's dealt with that bitch his whole life. And he was like, it's worth it. I just need to defend my honor.
Oh, I don't think that's necessarily the case. That's not what I got from that goddamn it, Gary. But I think he's fucking gotten into it a bunch of times. I feel like it's probably been a good 20 years, but old Gary knows himself a dust up.
Maybe. I like to think of it as a coward of the county situation. For the past 10 months, he sat there going, the next dude who talks to me, babe, I'm going to fight. Oh, no, you won't, Gary. And he went for it. God damn it, you did it, Gary.
Nah, dude, Gary's like in his 50s, but no, give that man the key to the city. Give him the knife, for sure. And, yeah, fuck that guy. Good for him. Way to go, Gary. But, guys, I'm Richie Redding. This is Really Real. Share, like, subscribe, stick it in your butt. It's been a lot of fun. Hope you had fun with me. Help us get the word out. All the things.
In a world that's been kicked in the nuts by fake news, nobody knows what to believe.
I don't know what I said.
We need one maverick newsman to cut through all the noise and tell us what's really real.
I'm not that guy.